taken me just over half an hour to load the passengers and luggage. I've still got a little bit of luggage we're waiting on, but nearly finished loading the luggage. We're doing a little flight across from Cairns to Darwin this morning. I don't want you to sit there bored throughout the whole flight, so what we'll do after we get airborne, we'll go about 10 minutes into the flight. We'll try and get up to cruise altitude, and then when we're comfortable with that, I will probably do a fast forward to the approach into Darwin for you, so you can see the landing into Darwin. Alright, now we've been informed by the cabin crew that the passengers are seated, they have their seatbelts on. 400 passengers I've got on board, and so far their satisfaction is 70%. They'll probably lose that a little bit in a minute while we're still waiting for the rest of the cargo, which I'm told will take about 4 minutes, and then we'll get underway. The ground crew will let me know when the cargo's on. We've got another 50 items to put on, I think. It shouldn't take too long. About 4 minutes, I reckon. Crew's not seated yet, of course. The cabin is secured, and the cabin is playing the music at the moment. We will be serving food and drinks on this flight, and they've got a couple of movies for them, so they'll keep the passengers happy. It's a wonderful plane, the 747-800. Rather partial to it myself. Very strong, four grey Rolls-Royce engines in there, I believe they are, on this particular model, I think. So when we finish loading the cargo, we've got no power running through the plane at the moment, so I've got to flick a few switches and get the power running and get the engines winding up, so we can ask traffic control for a pushback. And today I think I will push back to the left, because I think we'll have to taxi off to the right, I think. So we'll do a pushback to the left. Anyone would like to step up and fly this for me, they're quite welcome to attempt it. All the passengers jumping out in their parachutes, that'll be good. Point to note, we don't have parachutes. 272, we need 302 cargoes, so we've got 30 cargoes still to come. And then we can power up and get underway. Of course, we do have the genuine Qantas boarding music playing, and we have the genuine Qantas safety messages playing. Which I actually took from their Qantas adverts, which worked in quite well. 22 items of cargo to come. While we're waiting for those, I'll just flick us into the cockpit. So I just want to check what the weather is and the time before we go. It's 8 in the morning. That'll be a good daylight flight for you. We've got live weather, so I hope we don't get too many thunderstorms heading over to Darwin. It's good because it is the monsoon season, of course. About 10 pieces of cargo left to go. Then I can power up and turn everything on. loaded, I think. 2 pieces left, okay. Okay, cargo's complete. We can power up, get things underway, wind up the motors. I had a very noisy air conditioner running in the background, which I've just turned off.
Takeoff runway 15 climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.4
So I need to
Wanted 748 heavy clear to Darwin Airport as filed.
I need to talk to traffic control.
Departure on 118.4 squawk 5724.
Qantas 748 heavy readback correct. Contact ground on 121.7.
That's what I wanted. So now I can request pushback.
Cairns ground. Qantas 748 heavy requesting pushback. Qantas 748 heavy pushback request accepted.
And I want to steer to the left. The passengers are very noisy this morning.
Qantas 748 heavy, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
Okay, let's do it then. Yeah. Oh, I better put in my. If I can put in my flight plan in this thing. Yeah, there we go. This one's a little bit different program. That'll do. Okay, we're pushing back. So I'm going to let the get my view a little bit better here. There we go, that's better. So I'm going to let the autopilot taxi us to the runway. I'll do the takeoff, and then when we're in the air, I'll switch him back so that he can climb to the necessary cruise altitude. We'll see once everything's settled down. Excuse me, had that cup of coffee. As soon as everything settles down and we're cruising properly, I'll jump us forward in time to the approach into Darwin. Okay. Request pushback stop.
Cairns ground Qantas 748 heavy requesting the end of pushback.
Qantas 748 heavy request to end pushback received.
Okay.
Cairns ground Qantas 748 heavy with golf ready to taxi IFR.
Qantas 748 heavy taxi to land on short of runway 15 using taxiway announcement early 1 Bravo Bravo 2. Contact tower on 124.9 when ready.
Yeah, this program is quite amazing, really.
Taxiing hold short runway 15 using taxiway Delta Golf 3 Golf Bravo Bravo 2 Qantas 748 heavy.
The graphics are brilliant. Yeah, I've got another little program I'm going to attach to it soon, which will allow you to fly through hurricanes and cyclones and all sorts of stuff, all kinds of weather. That'll be interesting to see how that works out. Don't think I'll do it with a big jet though. I think I'll save it and do it with a small plane, I think. Where are you going, mate? Are you taking a shortcut? See what I mean about autopilot not doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to follow the blue line. And I think he's going to take a shortcut across the grass. Yeah. This is very annoying. So I found another track here. It's given me another track here. I'll follow that one. As I said to somebody the other day, never trust the autopilot. It's got a mind of its own. The program itself, it has been having problems with it. They're working on it at the moment, trying to sort it out. And I suppose we've got an update that's about a week late, so they're probably still working on it. As soon as we get the update, it should solve all the problems. Sometimes though I have to turn him off and go and correct it myself and turn him back on again. It's usually cleared by then. As long as he keeps following the yellow brick road here, we'll be right. Yes, I'm recording this with a program called Outside Broadcast Software, OBS. It's actually the same software program that I use to record my radio program every week. It does have a video side to it, which I don't of course use when I'm doing the radio. I only went into radio because someone said I had a good face for radio, and I thought, well, that's nice of them. Anyway, we'll be on the runway soon. The only thing that concerns me here is whether he decides to cut the runway short. I think if he turns right, we're going to be okay, because there's a turnaround at the end. He'll turn us around to give us the full length of the runway, which is what he should do. Normally what happens in this program, if the runway's too short, it won't take off, it'll just slow down. So it's a safety feature. Yeah, we have to go up where that thing is up there and do a U-turn, come back around. Noisy passengers. Don't you love the water, the reflection of the water? The graphics are absolutely brilliant. I was watching an interview with a real life pilot this morning, and he said how pessimistic he was about the coming of this program, saying it'll be another load of crap like everything else, is what he said. He said, when I got it to have a look at it, he said, blew me away. He said he just couldn't believe it. I think I'm going to have to move him, because he's not going to do it, I don't think. He needs to go forward a little more. Okay. I'll take the brakes off, son. I forgot to turn on my instruments, didn't I? That's why. This should fix it now. Yeah, that's what I wanted, thank you. Default, resume. There we go, thank you. There we go.
7-4 heavy ready for ISR departure runway 15.
Yeah, he didn't pull forward far enough.
7-4 heavy clear for takeoff runway 15.
Okay, now we're right. You have to get to a certain point
Runway 15 Qantas.
to trigger the ATC, and he hadn't gone far enough. So I had to drive it up myself a little bit till he picked it up. But let's see what he does. As I said, I don't rely on him 100%. He's going to have to go up here and do this U-turn. He's done it for me before, it should be alright. I thought the first time he did it, he'd gone the wrong way because the arrow points to the left and he went to the right, and I thought, oh, where's he going now? In actual fact, he was right because he had to do the U-turn at the top. Speed him up a little bit. I noticed on a flight the other day, all my windshield and everything all iced up. I was up in the ice, and I could not find the defrosters anywhere. I'm still looking for them. I'll find out where the switches are for that soon. I went through every switch in the place and couldn't find it. Mind you, a lot of the switches were inoperable, so until they finished doing the upgrades. But this is quite a pleasant plane. I like the cockpit layout area. We might drop back a little bit in a second. There we go. It won't come back any further. Yes, it will. Can't see into the cabin, but it's all right. You always think that he's going to miss the line, but of course you must remember that the nose of the plane sticks out way ahead of the wheels, so it's just a bit deceiving visually, that's all. A little bit of cloud up there over the mountains. Can be a bit hairy taking off from Cairns occasionally. You only just clear the top of one of the mountains, so it'll be enough. I hope. What's he doing? Is he trying to turn the wrong way, is he? Like I said before. Yeah, he's turning around on the bloody grass. What a goose. Oh, it's alright, let him keep turning. And if I can't get control here at the second. As I said, you never trust the autopilot. I was talking about him turning left instead of right before. Now this time he's gone left instead of right. Actually, can I can't get up there. Oh, that's better. interesting experience. All depends on what he's going to do now. I might have to step in. Oh no. Looks like he's going to straighten up. Oh, at least he's got that bit right. Hold it there, fella. Up there, I think. Okay, I'll take care of this bit myself. Give myself some flaps. Here we go. Generally, V1 is generally about 160 in this plane. Because we're running our runway fast, so we're cool. Wheels up. Okay.
Qantas 740 heavy contact Cairns departure on 118.04.
Alright, we're up. Flaps off. There we go.
118.4 Qantas 740
What's the
heavy.
flaps on here saying?
Cairns departure Qantas 740 heavy is at 1,200 feet, climbing 7,000 feet.
Okay, initial climb will be 7,000 feet.
Qantas 740 heavy Cairns departure continuous plan. Altimeter 29.7.
Yeah, I need about 1,800 to get over that mountain.
Speed below 190 knots.
Oh, looks like he's going to turn to the sea. That's good. That's all right.
Keep speed below 190 knots. Qantas 740 heavy.
Okay. Let's see what I need. Heading 029, that'll change. Altimeter, we're heading for 7,000 feet initially. Now, a lot of these switches are inoperable. Flight director will turn him on. Okay. That puts this square down here in the altimeter. Engaged. IP is engaged, that's good. Okay. Come down here. I actually wish I had I wish I'd have put my flight plan in manually before I left. It would have been easier, but that's all right. So I just want to get us on the way, and then we'll flick through. We'll jump ahead in time. We'll do a bit of time travel and just do the approach into Darwin. That's interesting. call this our Australian day flight. That's alright, we're up at about 5,000 feet now anyway, so we're fine. Okay. So one thing about this is flying something like this, you've got to be watching what's going on all the time. You know, you've got to, you can't just rely entirely on there's our airport down there we just took off from. You can't just rely entirely on your co-pilot all the time. Let's take a quick look outside for you, so you can see the 747 in flight. It is a marvellous aeroplane. Wave to me in the cockpit.
Flight at maintain 12,000 feet, Qantas 748 heavy.
Yeah, great plane. Cool out here. I think I'll go and get back in the cockpit where it's warm. There you go, okay. They're climbing to 12,000 feet at the moment. I think we'll probably end up with a top of about 35,000 feet today. You see the throttles are moving. The autopilot is moving the throttles backwards and forwards, and I tend to pull mine back around the same distance, just on the off chance that I have to take over at some stage. I don't want to get a sudden surge of power that I don't want, so I try and match what he's doing. This little button here is the speed brake. At certain altitudes, you're only allowed to do certain speeds at certain altitudes. For instance, you're not allowed to do more than 250 knots until you get over 10,000 feet, stuff like that. So every now and again you'll hear it saying overspeed, 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 which means that you get a bit too quick for the area. So what you need to do is pull back on this lever here, which is the speed brake. You can pull it back to about 20, 30, 40, 50 degrees, and it will reduce your speed, but you'll still continue climbing. Very useful tool. Flaps is over on this side. You've got your fuel controls down here, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 engines. Well, down here you've got all your radio. There they go, giving it more fuel, giving it more revs. You've got your radio controls down here. To see what it was doing. Okay, set to do a bit of a change, probably a little bit of turbulence, which you get up in the Northern Territory anyway, especially this time of the year with the unsettled airstreams and the monsoons. You get a bit like that.
Climb and maintain flight level 240 Qantas 748 heavy.
Okay, so now we're going up to 24,000. What I might do at this point, we might just do a little bit of a time travel. See that button up there in my drop-down menu says travel to. So I'm going to travel to approach. It'll take us straight to the approach for Darwin. Travel to, and we'll go approach. Yes, keep the lifetime. There we go. Just takes a couple of seconds to throw us in. Be more interesting for you watching the descent. That's the Cessna Skyhawk 152 there. Not a bad little plane if you just want to go for looking at the sights. Here we go. Ready to fly. Here we go.
Qantas 748, heavy contact Darwin approach on 134.1.
We'll catch up where we are now. Let's have a look.
134.1 for Qantas 748 heavy.
Okay, we're at 10,000.
Darwin approach Qantas 748 heavy is
climbing through to the. Okay.
3,000 feet.
It's all out of sync because we've just dropped in. Okay,
Heavy Darwin approach is continuous plan.
that's good.
United decimal 62.
Yeah, we're coming down from 10,000 feet to 3,000 feet it looks like, but we'll work it out in a minute. When I get my next set of instructions. Be very hot and dry down there. I remember my first trip to Darwin many years ago. I went up after the cyclone, and of course there was nowhere to get accommodation or anything because everything was flat, and I had to take a tent and everything with me. I got settled into one of the old caravan parks and put up my tent and got myself settled in, and I'd only been there about I don't know, 8 hours or something, and I saw this big dust willy come down the road, turned straight through the entrance of my tent and blew it to pieces. So I wasn't supposed to stay there, was I? Anyway, had to go out and buy another one. Okay, what are we doing? We're at, yeah, there we go, we're at 3,300 at the moment. The next drop down will be to 2,500 as we come onto the approach. That'll be the Roper River there, across in front of us. Runs out to the right into Arnhem Land. Cabin crew is trying to clean up and pick up all the last final rubbish and put it away before we land. You know, sit down, put your seat belts up and all that sort of stuff.
Qantas 748 heavy lifted center continuous plan. Altimeter United decimal 62.
Where's my SLC? There it is. There we go, 74% satisfaction. Come on. One of them hasn't got his seatbelt sign on. Oh, hasn't got his seatbelt on. Toilets are inaccessible at the moment because they're not supposed to be. Because we're in approach mode. I think they call that the Arafura Sea in front of us. It's not Darwin Harbour. Darwin Harbour is off to the right, further around to the right. I know it well because I used to skipper the Darwin Contessa there back in the late 70s. That's the auto throttle that's on there. It's supposed to keep your speed up when it needs to. lightning. Did you see that? Looks like we might be coming in from the ocean side this time. No, we're going to do a right turn. Darwin Harbour can be, or Darwin, the bay there in Darwin can be very frightening at times if you're in a boat and you get caught out there near the rocks on an incoming tide. You get an 8-metre tide there in Darwin, runs in at 8 knots, and it's terrifying. I had an engine cut out near Larrakia rocks one night, and I had to throw out half a dozen anchors to try and hold me in place, and the tide was running so fast the water was coming over the bow. Anyway, the police launch arrived and gave me a tug and took me back to Fanny Bay. Never forget that. I've got fond memories of Darwin. That wasn't particularly one of them. Oh yeah, that's our last point of call before we turn right to go into the runway, but I'm not sure whether. Oh no, he's going to go there or towards there first before he turns. I thought he was turning too sharp. Yeah. You should pick up the glide scope very shortly. Don't know whether you've ever seen the glide scope. Oh yeah, he's doing the right thing. It comes up, you know, like on your heads-up display, and you can follow it down onto the runway. It's quite good. That's providing, as I said, you've set up your flight plan before you leave and make sure that everything's in order. Easiest thing in the world to fly if you do that. Now we'll do a right turn in a second, and we'll be right on the flight plan, shouldn't we? We'll probably be about 10 nautical miles out. I'll tell us in a minute. Lots of snakes and gators down there, I can tell you. Wouldn't want to land in that swamp. They're still watching the movie. Okay. Rolling on here. 29 miles.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Contact Darwin Tower on 133.1.
Yeah, we'll turn right now. We're going to pick up the glide path.
Tower on 133.1 quadrant, 748 heading. Darwin Tower quadrant 748 heading 29er, miles east inbound ILS to the runway 29er approach.
Quad 740 heading Darwin Tower. Cleared ILS to the runway 29er approach. Altimeter 29er decimal 62 and 246 at flight.
Cleared ILS to the runway 29er approach quadrant 748 heading.
He's going further ahead before he turns because he's got to line up. He's got to be lined up on the it's got to be lined up on the ILS. He doesn't want to have to come in at an angle, because then I'm going to have to take over and straighten it out. So I'm hoping he's going to just turn right and come straight in. There we go. Undercarriage down, turn. There she is. That's the glide scope you can see on your HUD. That's the line you're supposed to be on when you want to land. I will let him keep going. I'll probably pick it up at about 5 or 6 nautical miles out and take it in for a landing. It is an amazing piece of technology, there's no two ways about that. Well, I think Microsoft's on a winner. I think they've done a good job of this. They've got real life airline pilots the world over singing the praises of this program. And it's only been out a few months, so I'm interested every month to see what their update's going to be or what it's going to give us. New airplanes. There's a couple of new jets coming out soon I'm interested in seeing. Got a couple of warplanes, not that I'm interested in flying warplanes. I saw a great livery for Royal Australian Air Force on my CJ4 on my Cessna Citation, and I couldn't get it to take in this program for some reason, so there's obviously a bit of a bug with it, so I'd like to have that on my CJ4 if I can do it. I don't know, I'll have to work on that, see if I can rewrite the program or something. Yeah, some nasty storm clouds ahead, that's the monsoon. Interesting what's going on down on the ground there. What are we at? We're at about 3,200 feet at the moment, so but on the glide scope that we're on, we won't need to do another descent because it will descend as we go down the glide scope. See, at this stage it's very hard to work out whether you actually are at 3.2 or whether you're at 25, because you've got to take into account the elevation of the ground. So, you know, it could be 25 or 2,500 under your wheels, but in reality down on the flat it could be 3,200. It's one of those anomalies you just have to watch for. If I'm not sure about it, I usually turn on the terrain manager and I can see on the screen what's underneath me. Now, as we approach on the glide scope, Had my nose fixed, now my mouth won't work. If those blue lines there were red, that would indicate one of two things. That would indicate that you're either too high or too low, and that you're running too fast. So you have to pull back on your speed. But I'm looking at our speed now. Generally about 168 is a good speed for approach in a 747, which is exactly what we're on now, 167.5. So that's exactly where we are now. So we're coming down at the right speed. Can't see the runway because of the clouds at the moment. But that's not a drama. Oh, you'll probably come through these clouds and see it. Get on the ground before that cloud hits, or the storm hits. Lightning going on. I get more concerned with turbulence and being buffered about rather than the actual lightning. I think I'll turn the autopilot off, I think, and fly it in myself, just in case. I was going to do that anyway, but not usually this far out, but well. There we go, I've got control. Yeah, it's going to drop us down. Going to drop us down. It'll call it out in a minute, 2,500. There you go, 2,500. It looks like you're not travelling very fast, but in reality you are. I mean, you're travelling at about 168 nautical miles an hour, so that's pretty fast. You wouldn't want to be doing it in your car. I'll have to use reverse thrusters when we get on the ground. Slow us down. Wind's not too bad, it's only at 8.
Clear to land runway 29er Quantum,
Clear to land. Target. I shouldn't use that word, did just say on target. Winelli down there, with the big Winelli prison down there. I'm not going to call it out for you. Okay. Yeah, if you get your ILS set up right, it's just a slow descent. Oh, they're getting frightened now because they can see the road getting clearer. They think we're too low. No, they're all right. There we go.
748 heavy, turn next taxiway.
Hope you enjoyed that little flight. I call into the Parap Hotel and have a couple of beers while I'm here.
Squad 748 heavy, turn next taxiway.
I hope that was as much fun for you as it was for me. See, that's one of the features of this program. You
Squad
can
748 heavy, turn next taxiway.
you know, fly beautiful clear skies and nice scenery and everything. But if you really want realism, then you've got to fly live weather. So you actually automatically get the weather that's in the area that you're in, the real lifetime real weather. You know, so if you fly to Sydney and it's pouring down a rain in Sydney, that's what you'll get when you get to Sydney.
748 heavy, contact ground on 121 decibel.
When it gets just past this line here,
Qantas 748 heavy.
that's my co-pilot talking, there's a woman. He'll stop now while he gets instruction. Come on, pull up. Don't go too far. Gone a bit far, but it's all right. Looks like I'm going to have to do it. I thought that was water. Pick it up along here somewhere. Well, there you go, folks, we've arrived. Alright, as I said, that autopilot, you never trust it too much. Alright, so hope you've enjoyed it.